Hi, everybody. Welcome to Draining the Swamp. Of course, I've got my lovely co host with me, Mel Dora, the Aloha Shirt Psychic. And filling in for Arthur tonight, we have Sabrina, Tree of Life, Inner Guidance. So, this is her first foray into getting swamped with the political stuff. Getting
Swamped.
swamped in the swamp.
Yeah.
And towards the end of the show, I've got a surprise for everybody that I'm going to play. Um, in the meantime, let me flip over to my banners real quick. Um, if you want to keep up with how the election analysis is going from 2024, electiontruthalliance.org. The link is also in the description box below. They are in the process of filing several lawsuits right now, and they are a nonprofit. So any donations are greatly appreciated. And no, I don't get anything for telling y'all about it. And the other group that does the same thing is called smartelections.us. And they're doing the same thing. I think they were the group that handled the Rockland lawsuit that first got put out. So, same thing. They're a nonprofit, they take donations gladly, gladly. So, just to kind of let y'all know what's going on there. Um, some advertisements, of course, the lovely Andrew Nikki Skincare. Mel, show them off. There we go. This is like if you get a full kit.
You have got to, this is so cool. And it's got the instructions here at the top. And this is the
How to
full
use it.
with all of the, I'll put it back. This is the whole kit with all of the serums. This is the moisturizer. These serums are wonderful. And you put some moisturizer on your hand and you just put the different serums on. You mix it up and you put it on your face. So here's the directions right here. And it's wonderful. What I'm going to do is for my members, if you join my channel, I think it's $9.99 a month or something. Not subscribers, members. What I'm going to do is once a month, I will have a drawing and I will give away a mask. The masks are incredible. It's an infrared mask. And I think it's valued at like $375. And then what I will do is I will also have drawings for every 2 or 3 months for my subscribers. And you have a chance to win or to get, I'm not sorry, win. I shouldn't say win.
This is the map.
There it is. Yay.
I hit the on button.
And you have a chance to win one of these. We don't get paid for this. We are just so excited about Andrew Nikki's skin. Andrew's a nice guy. So enjoying Shari's channel, and also Sabrina. Everybody's got to go to her channel, and she's a new content creator, and she's with us tonight. She's jumped in head first with us, buddy. I'm telling you.
It's okay.
It's not good. Years ago when they'd say, just jump right in the water and don't put your toes in first. Well, you jumped in, girlfriend.
Here we go.
She'll survive. She'll survive. Yes. So Andrew has his like I said, I brag about his stuff all the time.
Incredible.
And it's incredible skincare. It's the thing I really love about it as far as how it's packaged is everything is the moisturizer, the serums, everything is on a preset pump. So you can do 1 pump, 2 pumps, however much you think you need. And that's what's really cool about it. From the moisturizers to the serum, it's just a matter of doing a click and you just do 1 pump.
I will show you. So
yeah.
This is a serum. You take the top off. Oops. And it kind of locks. You twist. Oops, it's closed. You twist and you just put a drop on, just like I did. I want to put 3 drops on because I just love this stuff. And I just rub it in.
Yeah.
I put it on my face like this all over. It is great. It really is. Look at the difference.
Use the dry skin with my body lotion because I have a diabetic body lotion that I use, and it makes my skin absorb the lotion a lot faster and more thoroughly. It doesn't sit on top of my skin and have to take time to absorb. It like goes right in.
Did you say it doesn't sit on the top of your skin?
Well,
No,
some body lotions, when you put them on, they kind of like
no,
just sit on top of your skin
I'm making a
and
bad joke.
slowly absorb. And
I was making a bad joke because I thought I heard something else instead of sit.
oh,
Mhm.
no, we didn't do that kind of sitting. Um, but anyway, so
See, just that little
that
bit.
Andrew stuff, the link is in the description box below. We have otterspirit.com, who makes beautiful, beautiful bracelets and other jewelry pieces. And see, there you go. And now they're offering spears. This isn't one of theirs. This is one I already had, but I've got a spear coming in. And so the links are also in the description box below. If you use my link, I get like a couple of dollars off of what you buy, and you get 20 to 30% off depending on what you spend. So, and of course, there is Trish James's cards, which are the predictions deck, all of those, which are wonderful. And then my friend Jules, who lives here in town with me, she makes handmade jewelry and has her own Etsy shop called Jules Handcrafted Designs. She uses real gemstones, real gold, real jewelry. I don't have your link up yet, but I'm working on it. I actually just forgot to put it in. Sabrina has her own oracle deck, which is all hot peppers and stuff on the front. And it's a great oracle deck. It's very much based on intuitive reading. Like, all garlic, protect yourself. So yeah, it's a great deck.
It's
So
all my own photography, and it's all from Santa Fe, New Mexico.
What I will do is to my subscribers, uh, uh, I'll have a contest once a month, and I will order a Sabrina deck, and I'll send one to my subscribers. How's that?
Thank
there
you,
you
Mel.
go. There you go. Um, and of course, if you would like to contact Mel, you can go to
This is
that's
Arthur.
Arthur's link. Hit the wrong bar.
I'm
Andrew,
Arthur
you
tonight.
changed my face. Oh my God.
Contact Mel, go to meldor.com. Or you can call him at 847-590-5411.
Well, Arthur will be on my show tomorrow night. So
And you've got the Danube. Are you sold out on that now, or are you still?
I've got room for 2 openings. And so if you're interested, call me because I have to get it in before the end of this week. There's 2 openings. Well, I've got till February 8th. That's when we do final payment on it. I had a cancellation. Now, if you're single, I can still take your reservation, not after final payment. Final payment is due February 8th. But anyway, now that cabin is on the Riviera deck. That's the lowest deck on the boat. They're smaller, but I've stayed in those cabins. I'm staying on one on this trip, and any cabin on the boat is great. Riviera, those cabins are wonderful as well. It's just that the windows are smaller because you're right above water level. But I kind of like to look out and see that. It's like a 3-foot window. It's not the panoramic windows.
I don't know if I can handle that. I'm really claustrophobic.
Now, if you're claustrophobic, no worries because you will not feel claustrophobic whatsoever.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, and then
availabilities for 2.
All right, and then his next trip is to Iceland, August 8th through the 15th.
Now we're going to go there to see the eclipse in totality. It'll last about a minute or a minute and a half on the Reykjavik. They say partial, but the sun, it'll be completely blacked out. Let's hope for sunshine. Iceland gets a lot of rain, but you'll see the corona. Yay, they'll give us the goggles, all that stuff. The thing is, everybody and their brother is going to Iceland to see the eclipse. and the Icelandic airport can only handle so many flights, and so airline seats. Now, if you book the trip, your airfare is included from Chicago. We can book it from any city, but there's an extra charge for that. But the airfare is included in the price round trip from Chicago to Iceland and back. That's coach. However, you could book it soon, because I just got an email from the tour operator saying that the airline seats are filling up, and there, even though there's hotel space, there might not be enough airline seat space. So I can take between 25 and 30, and I've got 20 going already. So if you want to go, please, please, please book ASAP immediately. So
Absolutely. And then last is his Ecuador Galapagos. I finally said it right. Galapagos Islands tour. I do good until I look at it, and then I want to pronounce it phonetically, and it doesn't work right. So
what happened on that tour is the ship that we're going to be on, or the boat. Well, holds 60 people going around the Galapagos Islands. All the cabins are sold out, but I've got people waitlisted. So, hopefully that at least enough cabins will open up for 4 people. Not that any of my people will cancel, but there's always some cancellations. So if you want to go to the Galapagos, the fact that it's sold out, don't let that dissuade you. Call my office. We'll put you on a wait list, and I'll turn it into Mayflower Cruises and Tours, and they will hold a space for you in case there are any cancellations. And I've already got one person on the waiting list. So don't let that dissuade you. Let's think positive and hope that you'll get a space. There you go. But Iceland book immediately because of the airline seat space.
Exactly. And Sabrina, for best contact, your links are in the description box below. I just don't have them preloaded on the tab here because I got busy this afternoon.
I'm really Arthur tonight, so that's okay.
The best way you can reach her on her YouTube channel, which is treeoflifeinnerguidance.com. That's your website, and then your YouTube is Sabrina TOL Inner Guidance, right?
It's actually Tree of Life. I just kind of
Tree of Life.
it up.
You spelled it out. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
And of course, if you want to reach me for a reading, I do have readings opening up in February. You can reach me at swampvoices@gmail.com. And I will let you know what dates are open, and then we'll go from there.
The Raging Cajun.
Yeah, there you go. I'm the Raging Cajun. Well, I literally am a Raging Cajun because that's the university I graduated from, and it's now the university where I work, and we're the Raging Cajuns. So, the fact that I'm also really Cajun helps too. So. Anyway, so not like we have any topics to talk about tonight, but just everything that's been going on, I've been in such a rage state of mind that I have literally had to stop watching the news.
Exactly.
Like a day, take a day off, and I don't watch it, and then I'll come back and catch the headlines. But because I was starting to feel like I was getting an ulcer, I was getting so angry. So, and Karen, yes, if you want to be on Saturday night, shoot me an email. I've been slowly, as people have been contacting me. Yeah. So Sabrina will probably be there too, unless she's already busy. And
we forgot to mention other side of the coin on coming.
Oh, that's right. We've got the other side of the coin. That's going to be Friday night at 6 p.m. Chicago time. That's Central, and then I'll be like busting ass out of there at 7 o'clock to be over on Scott's channel at 7 o'clock. So, but we'll be doing talking about voodoo this week. So, and it's our first, the other side of the coin since last year. We kind of had to put it on the back shelf with just a lot of different things happening with everybody, and we just kind of tabled it for a little bit and said, well, we'll come back to it later.
And then we take turns hosting it. So one of us hosts
Right.
one month, one the next. And so we pick
Exactly.
a topic, we look at both sides of the coin, we look
Exactly.
at all sides of it. So
And that's what's good. And this Friday, it's going to be on Colleen's channel, The Cool Crone. And I believe, I don't know if did she send out the link? I don't think she sent the link out yet for us to post it, but it'll probably be coming out any day now if she hasn't.
when is
And
it 29th? That is
I know she sent the thumbnail, but I don't remember if she sent the link. I'd have to go look.
Marina's got another coming up, Shine Your Light. Do you
Shine Your Light, that's Marina usually does that on a Saturday. It's once a month on Saturday.
I think it's going to be coming up soon too. Marina, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the schedule. I've only been able to catch a couple of episodes of those because I'm usually obligated elsewhere at that time on Saturdays, and so
I can tell you when.
once in a while I have a free Saturday night. It's like, oh, I can go and watch.
I can tell you. Hold on. I got to look and see. Saturday, August 30th. And it starts at 3:30 and it goes for 4 hours. And what it is, it's you put your porch light on and you just leave it on for 24, 48 hours. And it's about,
you turn it on at 7 p.m. your time zone.
Right.
So
it's about raising the vibration and about, just sending out positive vibes for what's going on.
Exactly.
All right. So anyway,
it's quite literally shining your light.
Exactly.
And if you don't have a porch light to turn on, you can put like a electric candle or something in your window or whatever you want to do. That's usually what I do. I have a little battery.
There you go.
A little battery operated candle.
Sabrina's. Yeah. Sabrina, hold on.
I put it in the window and turn it on. Yep. I've got a couple of tall ones like that too. So so wherever your time zone is, when 7 p.m. rolls around on your time zone, that's when you turn on your light. And as Marina always said, she always had the vision of literally like being in space and looking at the earth and seeing lights going on around the world as everybody shines their lights. So
I want to touch on this one real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
You want to read it, Shari, or should I?
It says Trump is backing down a bit in Minnesota. No. Holman is taking over for Noam, and Bovino has been pulled out also. Has he realized that Americans are not behind him? I feel a shift.
My response to that is don't let the optics fool you. This is another thing of Donald Trump just to create optics. And as much as I dislike Gregory Bovino, when I saw him reporting on that guy who was murdered by the ICE agents, he looked like a brown shirt from Hitler, Gestapo and all. This is Trump, I think, throwing Bovino under the bus, but Bovino is still working with Immigration Patrol. Tricia McLaughlin, I wanted to, pardon me for being so lyric, I wanted to throw up because she said he's a great American and he hasn't been removed from duties. I thought to myself, what Kool-Aid did she drink? I mean, oh my God, it's Trump throwing him under a bus. Trump will always throw people under a bus. And he's putting Tom Homan in charge. That's like letting the bank robber watch the bank or letting the fox out of the hen house. It's all for optics, you all. So don't be fooled by it. Don't let him create a smoke screen. I think of the magician in the tarot. Don't let him create a diversion over here so he can get by with what he's trying to over here. When I looked at Pam Bondi's list of demands, names on voter rolls, this, that. And if you do that, we'll pull ICE out of Minneapolis or
Yeah.
Minnesota. I'm like, wait a minute. So that
Blue
just
states are saying no.
well, but that just proves that the whole thing had absolutely nothing to do with immigration. It had to
Yeah.
do with Trump having a vendetta against Minnesota because Tim Walz ran with Kamala Harris, and because they wouldn't do his bidding. That's what this is about. That's why there's ICE here in Chicago. This is not about rounding up illegals, you all. It has nothing to do with it. Don't get fooled by that. It's about Trump creating a diversion so he can invent problems
Look
and then
over here while I rob you over there.
he can invent problems and blame it on minorities. That's exactly what Hitler did, and that's exactly what Trump is doing. Remember his first administration when he was, what he said about our Mexican brothers and sisters, what he said about the Muslims and all of this and all of that. He's doing the same thing, the diversion. It's blaming somebody else who can't defend themselves, but who are, for all of the problems of this country. But Trump has created the biggest part of them. There was never this crisis at the border. That was manufactured by Trump and his cronies, I feel. And don't be fooled by this, Laura. I'm sorry, I'm on a roll. So go ahead, Shari and Sabrina. I'll shut up now.
That's okay. The one thing I was happy to see today was that Governor Walz nationalized the National Guard, called up the National Guard for Minnesota. They showed up in Minneapolis. They wore their bright yellow vest, that neon lit vest, so that they would stand out from the ICE Gestapo. And they proceeded to hand out hot coffee and donuts to the protesters to be there to show
Yay.
their support and to say, hey, no, we're here. We got your back. We're not here for them. We're here for you.
A lot
And
of people were worried that if Walz called in the National Guard, that then Trump would try to take control of them and have
yeah,
the public. I am so glad that now he did have the National Guard there, and the National Guard is saying, we will not
yeah.
bend down to ICE. We will help the people who are exercising their constitutional rights for peaceful assembly. They were doing
The only thing that worries me, and it's something I saw somebody say something, is what if some of these ICE thugs decide to try to draw down on some of the guardsmen? And it's like, that worries me, because as the guardsman, if somebody shows up and starts pulling weapons on them, you've got a whole platoon there that's going to draw up that fast, and it's going to be it could get really dangerous really fast.
well,
And so that scares me a little bit.
but at least it's a positive message that they're there
Yes,
and that they are helping people. Yeah,
that's
Sabrina.
right. And they made a point of going from neighborhood to neighborhood to neighborhood today, just to let people know we're the National Guard. We are not here in their support. We are here to support you, protect you from them. And it's kind of, you saw a very light showing of the frozen crew out there today because of the
because
National Guard.
they lack a certain part of the anatomy. I'm talking about ICE.
Right.
I just had a vision when you were talking. I saw this whole circle of National Guards people, and they were encircling this small group of ICE.
I got that vision yesterday.
And they're like saying, we will not let you intimidate these people. This was not about rounding up criminals. This was about intimidation. Look at the people that were shot. These people that are being hauled away are American citizens. If you just look at them wrong or film them, they're beating you up. They're killing you. Wrong answer.
I saw a report this afternoon that evidently had happened earlier in the month in Portland, where a family that's here under they they're here under the asylum law, and they've been going through filing all the paperwork. They got accepted to stay here for asylum, and their daughter, their 5, 6 year old daughter, started bleeding out of her nose in the middle of the night, and they didn't know what was wrong. And so they got up to take her to the emergency room. They got stopped by ICE in front of the hospital, all slapped in handcuffs, including the child, and hauled off. And
Um,
nobody knows what happened to them. Nobody knows what's happened to the little girl. Nothing. They
Deanna's
can't get information.
Deanna's here tonight. Hi, Deanna. Deanna and I are in
Yeah, I
Spanish.
told her to email me, and I would we'll
Hola,
talk.
hola, Deanna, ¿cómo estás? Anyway, we're in Spanish class together. So, Sabrina, what do you think? We got to hear from you, darling.
What do I think?
Yes. What do
Okay,
you
well,
see? What do you
thank
feel?
you for asking. So, I first of all think that Donald Trump is on the revenge tour, and that his mission is to get anybody that stood against him, insulted him in any way, didn't worship him. And that's why he's going after all these Democratic states. Notice he's not going to any red states. And the other thing, I think his number one mission is he is going to do anything that he can do to stay in office. And that means martial law, the Insurrection Act. That's why he's causing all this discord. And I envision the National Guard going up against the ice capades. And I hope that does not happen. But he's looking for an excuse to get rid of the midterms, to not have the midterms happen, because he
Yep.
knows he's going to get trounced. And I think if you know anything about malignant and narcissistic personality disorder, he is cookie cutter. He goes right down 1, 2, 3. All you got to do is look at the whole list. And he has managed to bamboozle and gaslight so many people. It's astonishing to be like looking from the bird's eye view, looking down at what's going on, just shaking your head, saying, I can't believe they have been so brainwashed. But one of the things that will happen when people are gaslighted, so you see one thing one way, and then they say it didn't happen that way, it happened this way. And then they keep saying that over and over and over and over again to you until you start to question your own belief. And then they say it so frequently that you just kind of say, well, I guess I was wrong. Maybe I missed something. And you start to question yourself.
It's
And
rather Orwellian, isn't it? I
Yeah.
think, if you read George Orwell, 1980, whatever it was, you know,
1984, I think.
yeah, how they would change a narrative in the middle of a sentence. I, you know, I have, I have felt all along as well that this whole thing in Minnesota and other cities is a litmus test for him to try to call in the National Guard. Well, the court struck that down. And when he found that wouldn't work, he hired all these people under the
For
guise
the
of illegal immigrants, but really
Frozen Crew.
he calls them to be a paramilitary organization for,
Yeah.
for
They're his brown shirts.
but I said, this is a litmus test to see if he can try martial law or if he can try an insurrection act. But no, but who are the insurrectionists? Who was guilty of insurrection? He was. And so you're right, Sabrina, it is gaslighting. And, they're telling us you're right. Don't believe what you're seeing with your eyes. Here's what we want you to believe. And I've watched those, and for a second, I kind of thought, did I miss something? Until I watched those videos again. So
yeah,
if you all think you missed something, as horrific as they are, watch the videos again, because that will tell your mind that what Trump and his regime is telling you is not true. You
And
saw
stick to the raw video footage. Don't
right.
don't watch the doctored stuff that's been edited and put up on ABC and CBS and CNN and all those channels because they're following orders from him. Watch the raw video that's being put up online, and there are several uh, young people, college students, 20 people in their 20s and 30s who are trying to start their own like news type format, showing the truth, who have been really good about being right there on the front lines, videoing everything, and then putting the raw footage up ASAP immediately so that people can actually see what happened.
I just have
And
to say something real quick. This is so cute what Kimberly Canoe said after I showed the box. I got to show this again. She said, dang, that box is nice from Andrew and Nikki, but does it do dishes when it's empty? And my response is, no, that's what husbands are for.
There you go.
I didn't say what.
exactly.
I like here, I want to show this if I can, Sherry. Meme Vicky, I love this. And she is right. Every other state needs to keep their eyes open for Bovino or Homan showing up with another crew. That's exactly right. And it's going to happen in other cities. You mark my words.
Yes.
And other
Democratic cities, Democratic run
Right.
cities.
And
Well, and the
this
thing of it
all
is what
revenge.
I keep seeing is that he's going to start with Democratic cities. And then as Republican cities, people start going, whoa, wait a minute, you've gone just a bridge too far here. Then they're going to turn around and attack them. They're already attacking the Second Amendment rights and calling any citizen who's got a legal weapon on them a domestic terrorist.
yes,
Now,
but the
I
National
don't know where the Second Amendment right people are, why they aren't out there screaming their full
We're
heads off.
already there. The National Rifle Association spokesperson was livid. As much as I didn't like the National Rifle Association, I have to say he was livid because, you know, uh, you know, Alex Pretty was exercising his constitutional right. He did not draw that weapon. He was holding a cell phone. He was helping a lady. The gun was in his waist. They took it away from him before they even shot him, and they were bludgeoning him when he was on the ground. No,
Yeah.
you know
And he was a nurse. He was an ICU nurse that worked for the VA.
what I
Yes.
see happening here is I agree with Sabrina. They're going to try other cities, Democratic cities.
Yeah.
Then what'll happen though is I see people just like they did in Minnesota standing up and saying, we will not tolerate this. We will not put up with it. And we're not going to allow it to happen in our cities. Minnesota is the battle cry. It really is. This has happened in other cities. There were people shot and killed here in Chicago by ICE. It just wasn't reported.
And in Oregon, yeah.
But what's going to happen is there's going to be more people reporting these people getting shot and killed by ICE. And it's really galvanizing people. I mean, even people that were Trumpsters are even saying enough is enough.
Yeah, like I said, I heard a right-wing podcaster. He's a up and coming Joe Rogan wannabe. That even he was on air over the weekend talking about, whoa, wait a minute, y'all have gone too far with this. This is a bridge too far. And so when you start losing your own people, that's when they're going to start going to everybody. I'm in a very, very red state by a very, very MAGA governor who has already pledged his ever dying love for the orange man. And we've already had the frozen crew down here. Of course, the people in New Orleans kind of dealt with them by posting voodoo dolls of the frozen crew all
That
over
was
the place
great. I
and
love that.
freaking them out so bad that they were like asking to leave New Orleans because they were getting voodoo dolls put everywhere. So
Fabulous.
I'm seriously thinking about for Friday night, and I hadn't really discussed it with anybody yet, but the thought's been in my head of giving a little tutorial on how to make your own voodoo doll.
Hey, there you go,
I
folks.
think that's great.
You know,
So-
Sabrina,
It's
I
great.
do agree. I think he'll try to spill it over into some Republican places, that Republicans that have gone against him. But I'm telling
Right,
you,
exactly.
people will speak up. There, so don't be fooled by the optics in Minneapolis, but let's let the people unite and say we are not going to put up with the lies or the things like that from this regime. And people are doing it in mass. My guides had showed me that people will be protesting in mass. I thought it was for No King's Day, that'll be a big protest. But this ICE thing has really coalesced we were already coalesced, but it has really made a lot of people mad and saying, we won't tolerate this totalitarian dictator regime any longer.
Yeah, absolutely.
I see.
Laura in Austin just posted that Bovino is being pulled back to California and is expected to retire. And just posted online. Mark Brisboe said Greg Bovino is done, fired by Dumpy.
I don't know if that's true, because
I don't know if that part's true, but I know he's been pulled.
But what happens is people like Bovino, people like Home, or whatever his name is, Trump, these people are going to be tried for crimes against humanity. I'm telling you, I see I see it really strong here.
And the thing of it is that if a foreign army showed up on our shores, treating our citizens the way the Frozen crew has been doing, we would be in a full-fledged war right now with that country to just bomb them to smithereens for the way they're attacking our people. And the fact that they've got our people attacking our people is what's so scary, and something that very much comes to light. And it's something that I want to say it happened right after JFK was unalived. It was Eisenhower who said it, who said basically that when, oh God, how did they put that? Now I'm going to go blank on it.
Yes, Laura, they will boycott.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're going to boycott. But Eisenhower was saying something to the effect of that no one will ever be able to take this country down from the outside. It can only be done from the inside.
Laura, I see the boycott as well.
Yeah.
They already are. That's already, people are talking about that. And, we're going to lose a lot of tourism, a ton of tourism.
We already are.
I'm in the Phoenix area, and a lot of Canadians come down here for the winter, and it is not nearly as busy as it has been in the past 3 or 4 years that I have been here.
It's funny talking about what Shari, you were saying Eisenhower said. My ADD's all over the place today.
Yeah, that's okay. Mine gets that way too sometimes.
But I was thinking about when I was in school and we were learning about the Soviet Union, and Leon Trotsky, he was part of the Bolsheviks. He was a big high up in the Communist Party in the Soviet Union. And he said, America doesn't have to worry about a foreign enemy taking her down. They will destroy themselves from within. And what he said was prophetic about the Soviet Union, because when Mikhail Gorbachev came along and dissolved the Communist Party, that was the end of it. But Trotsky, his prediction, if we're not careful, is right on the money. For the Commonwealth of Kentucky, their motto is "United we stand, divided we fall." But I think this whole thing going on with the Trump regime is showing that most of us, I would say 75 or 80% of us, our love of democracy and our likenesses far outweigh our disagreements, if you will. Meaning that all of us, or most of us, are standing up against killing innocent people and rounding them up. And this is the straw that's breaking the camel's back.
Well, and it's the fact that they're yanking people out of their cars or stopping people and saying, "Where are your papers?" I'm
Well,
sorry, but this is the United States of America. We don't carry papers
when
to
our
travel around in our city or going state to state.
when our
Um,
differences outweigh the things we have in common, then we could very easily fall. But
yeah,
what the things that hold us in common, our democracy, our our constitution, our right to peaceful assembly. Let's speak up against tyranny. Those things will hold us together, and I feel our democracy will prevail. What do you think, Sabrina?
Well, I go into the more psychobabble department of this stuff, and I was thinking about how these people latched on him as the king for them. And what I think is there is a certain amount of people, and this is everywhere, but I'm talking about the United States. There's a certain amount of people everywhere. They're not very happy with their own lives. And what happens is rather than taking a look at why they're unhappy or what they could do to, become more happy or improve their lives, when someone comes along and gives them the answer, well, the reason why you don't have a better life or why you can't get this job or why your life sucks is because the immigrants are taking your job, and the African Americans don't belong here, and he has attracted this incredibly unhappy group of people. I mean, not all of them, but I would say most of them, that they're not evolved enough to fix their lives, so they latch on to someone like him, and then he pulls out all their anger about everything that has ever sucked in their lives, and now they have somebody to blame.
Right.
yeah.
And he has trained them so well to behave exactly like him that I got into a brief skirmish with someone online, and they were going on and on about this and that, and I said, well, all I said was, what would Jesus do? And this guy unloaded on me, told me that I was a whore, told me I probably had 100 abortions, that I knew nothing about the 10 commandments. And and I was just like, all I can picture is that this is something that would have come out of his dumpster's mouth. And he has trained them like this because they now have an excuse for why their lives are miserable and why their lives aren't better. And then when you look at Congress, look at how they got sucked in, and I really believe that they are getting threatened so badly behind the scenes. Imagine what it's like to go in and work with him every day. Imagine that. I mean, I'm not giving them an excuse by any stretch, but narcissistic personality disorder, they have unbelievable staying power. It's almost superhuman, and
Yep.
they will just hammer you, and we're watching it. He does one thing, he doesn't get his way, then he says, all right, I'm going to give you 100% tariffs, Canada. If you want to sign a trade deal with some other country, we're going to do this. And it's always threats, threats, threats. And
But people are
it's
standing down from the bully, like Canada said. We're not going to do that, Donald.
it's about time.
When
But
I saw Donald Trump speak at Davos, everything that came out of his mouth was lies. I've done the greatest job in America with the economy. Have you been to the grocery store lately, Donald? I've done this. I've done that. Our world community, these windmills suck. We need to have, he didn't say suck, but we need to have, fossil fuels or whatever he said. I heard Carney's speech, and it was incredible. And he
it
said
was
this
amazing.
about the signs in the storekeeper's window, and
Yep.
then so at some point somebody doesn't
The
put the
sign
sign.
out of the window.
Well, that's exactly what Americans are going to start doing. Most of us have. We're not putting the signs in the windows anymore, you know. And then I heard Macron, his speech. It was incredible. You know, the way brainwashing works, the way that cults are formed is because the cult leader plays on people's fear, and they play on their emotion. They get them angry and riled up. You're right. They vilify a smaller group, blame that smaller group for everything. And then what happens is people suspend their critical thinking and they go on that raw emotion of fear, of hate,
Yeah.
of anger. What's
Right.
happening is Americans, most of us, never lost our critical thinking. But the ones that have drunk, many of them that have drunk Trump's Kool-Aid are getting their critical thinking back. And that's exactly what we see in Minneapolis. Like, no, that's not what happened. These people were domestic terrorists. They were doing that, but our eyes are showing us the truth. I say to people, let's get back to our critical thinking. Let's step out of the fear. Let's get back to our critical thinking. And we're coming up with strategies about what we can do to defeat these authoritarian leaders. And people are like churches, organizations are getting food together. They're anonymously dropping them off in people's homes. They're helping people to feed the poor. They're helping the people, the shut-ins, because they're afraid to go out of their houses. Um, the National Guard handing out coffee and donuts.
Right.
Our
Well,
critical
I
thinking is
think
coming
that
back.
I think that the good people are going to do this, and I think that unfortunately it's brought out the bad people and more bad people, but we are going to have that reverse effect that the good people are going to get more good and more helpful in there. And as far as critical thinking skills goes, I've been in the fitness and movement industry for 40 years, and what I have seen is for behavioral change to happen, these people are going to they're going to have to see the light themselves. We can argue with them and say, oh my God. I mean, all you have to do is read a transcript of that buffoon's speech, and it is so embarrassing the way he talks. And there is so much right now normalizing of dysfunction. And I just stand back and I'm like, will you stop normalizing this? Because this is not normal. This man can't even string together two sentences. And he is the representation of the United States of America, which should be an embarrassment. But these people have just gotten gaslighted, sucked in. But on the good side of this, you're going to see more good people, I think, coming out to help. I think that slowly people are coming, their brains are starting to clear, and
Bingo.
and it's just like, holy shit, what have you been doing like the last year? You can't see this, but they can't because they've been brainwashed, and narcissist will suck you in, and you just think you're not going to get sucked in. But I can just picture him, how he gets new lawyers after all his lawyers. I like to say dismembered, but I mean disbarred, and then they get thrown in jail. But just imagine what lines of caca poo poo he says to them, and he sucks them in.
Deprogramming
And
through.
It's very interesting this morning when I got up on my and I went outside for my morning coffee and had my phone, and I immediately had two links sent to me of Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech and his I've Been to the Mountaintop speech. And both of them bring to light the point that when you have this one group that points the poor white man against the poor black man because they're taken from each other when they're both in the same boat and they're both shoveling out as much water as fast as they can, but instead of dumping the water back into the ocean, they're dumping it in each other's boat because the masters above have made them fear each other when we're both in the same group. We're both on the same level. It doesn't matter, your skin color, your religion, your nation of origin, whatever. we're all in this together. And that's always been one of this country's greatest strengths, has been our diversity. And the fact that because we have people from around the planet who come here and become Americans, and they stay here and they bring parts of their culture, which blends with parts of our culture, which makes us stronger all the way around, because then we're more of a well-rounded society. And when you look back on history, you start seeing where, especially in the late 40s, early 50s, they started cutting on public education and dumbing down public education. You only can get the really good education if you can pay for it, right? Mom and daddy got money, they're going to pay for it. But public education slowly got whittled down. Take away the music programs, the art programs, the speech programs, anything that stimulates critical thinking skills in a child's brain. And they've slowly done away with that in public education. And now it's teaching for the test. I mean, my brother teaches high school, and he is an amazing teacher because he actually teaches his kids how to think so that they can process for themselves. And it's an amazing thing to watch. And I've known other teachers that do that. I've also seen those teachers that just, yeah, okay, whatever you tell me to do, give me a paycheck. And so, we have to be aware of what is happening within our own neighborhood, our own community, our own state, our own country, so that we can then step up and take steps that when the elite step out of line, we're right there to say, whoop, stop, halt, you're crossing the line.
The
Don't
bottom
do that.
line, the bottom line is
We're a little late.
the
right
bottom
now.
line. The bottom line that I see is just like other countries are standing up to the the sociopath actually.
Yeah.
He is a psychopath, and malignant narcissism is a component of that sort of psychopathy. But and you're right, they just don't give up. But what I see is just like countries are standing up to the bullies. When he said, if you don't do this, well, I'm a peaceful president, but now that you're not giving me the Nobel Prize, I'm gonna whatever. All right.
Yeah.
Well, NATO beat him in his own game, because when he was talking about taking over Greenland, because it was necessary for the security of the United States and for NATO to protect the world against invaders. What NATO did, the NATO countries, they sent troops to Greenland.
Right. For protection.
No, it was bigger than that. They sent troops to Greenland because they said, Mr. President, if what you're saying is true, and if countries like Russia and China want to use Greenland as a strategic point, then we're sending troops to protect Greenland from those invasions that you're talking about.
Right.
They Trump at his own game. They stood
I
up.
know. I read that. That was great.
And that's
really
what
great.
it's going to take. That's
But
what it's going to take.
When I
Well,
saw, hold on. When I saw,
okay, go ahead.
when I saw Carney's speech at Davos, when I heard Macron speak, when I heard NATO people speak, and they got standing ovations. Trump didn't
It
get.
was amazing.
Trump didn't get. You know what? Those countries, and then he threatened, I'll tariff them. You know what they're saying now? Bring it on. Because
Yeah,
we'll
they should.
sign treaties. Okay, we'll sign treaties with other countries. It didn't matter. It loses its effect. Notice how quickly he stood down from Greenland when he found out he wasn't getting what he wanted. Notice how he throws people under a bus to try to create a different optic, but it's still the same BS. Countries are standing up to the bully, and that's what Americans are doing. We are standing up to the bully. Dr. Lena Rodriguez said the Trump followers wouldn't all fall away at once. They'd fall away piece by piece. There'll still be that little core group of his Nazistic, people. but a lot of them are pulling away because this whole thing in Minneapolis has been, we have to stand up to the bullies, to the bully.
That's right.
People are doing it. As we were talking, my light bulb went on. And you brought up something about Jesus, and I like what you said about that, Sabrina. And it just dawned on me that perhaps Renee Good and Alex Pretty were angels, and they were sent here to show us that we must all stand up for what's right and for what's good and protect those people who can't protect themselves, and in doing so, protecting ourselves and standing up against these bullies. I see those two getting the Presidential Medal of Freedom, not from Trump. But
Absolutely.
they will be looked at as heroes. And so, if Jesus came tomorrow and said, I'm Jesus, and let's say Jesus came as a Latino or as an African American or something, what would we do to Jesus?
Well, and that's just the point I was trying to make is, the horrific things that they are doing to people in the name of Christianity.
Oh my God.
It is, and when this man that just jumped all over me, and I mean, I just made one statement. I said, "What would Jesus do?" And yakety yak and on and on and on. But to the point of the other countries, Mel, thank you for bringing that up. One of the other good things that is going on here is this is also bonding NATO together stronger. And all of these
Absolutely.
other countries that have kind of sat back and said, well, we have the United States to protect us. The United States is on our team. And now all of a sudden they're like, you know what? The United States is not on our team. We got to get our shit together here. And we have to reinforce everything, and we have to in the United States is getting isolated, which I think is that the man up in the cold Siberian area, I think that is his whole plan, is to isolate the United States.
Of
So
course.
the other
Absolutely.
countries are not going to come running. And then there was one other thing, completely on another subject, but the same subject. What you can do to stand up to somebody like Dumpster is the best thing all these countries could do, Mel, is like exactly what you said. They're saying, bring those tariffs on. Ignore him. If they ignore him and say, oh yeah, that's nice, we don't care what you have to say, that just trusts the narcissist shorts, because they want attention, and they want constant attention, because they didn't get it when they were a child.
And look how much attention Trump is getting out of all this.
I mean, you can't, it's ridiculous. Every 10 minutes, it's something. Every
And
10
what he'll be
minutes,
saying,
it's him.
that what he's going to be saying with Minneapolis, I can see it right now. He got Bovino, whatever they did with him, and he's bringing whatever home and in. Look at what a great thing we did in Minneapolis. That's what he's going to say. And
Yeah.
and people are going to get riled up. And I think the best
It's horrible.
I think the best thing to do is speak up against the atrocities. Say we will not tolerate it anymore. Donald, bring on what you got, because we're not going to put up with it. Just like the other countries said, bring on the tariffs, because here's what we're going to do. And it loses its effect.
Yep.
And that's what
Over the
happened. I see the Epstein files finally coming out. I see Jackson testifying again, and that's going to be damning. And every time those things come to the forefront, there's some other diversion created, and then we look at this like the magician instead of looking at that. Those things are going to come to the forefront. The Miller Report's going to come to the forefront.
Yep.
The fact that how ICE has covered up these things, and we know they've covered it up. We know it.
Well, they know it too.
They know it too.
They're
They just
singing a
don't think,
different song.
they
But
think
they know.
they think that they are infallible, but they won't be. This is not going to end tomorrow at 2:30, but it will end, and it will end. It's going to go on for a while. But I promise you, it will end, and Trump will be gone. The MAGAs will be gone. And the people that are perpetrating this stuff, I see brought to justice. Now, believe that if you will, but a lot of people are frustrated because what's going on now, they say it's never going to happen. Nothing ever changes. Things are changing, and they will.
They are. They're just not. It's for all of us sitting back so horrified that this cannot happen soon enough. And so many people say, when is it going to end? When is it going to end? And it's like, well, I'm going to tell you guys something that back in 2015, the first round of this madness, I was talking to one of my clients, and I'm talking about the election, and my client said, he said, "Oh yes, well Hillary's going to win, absolutely." And I got this rush of, and all I could think of was the American people are going to get what the American people deserve. And that was the first round. So I think that this is a big wake-up call for America in so many ways. Talking about amendments to the Constitution, which the Constitution is out the window right now. But I think that this is a big wake-up call, and the fact that this is happening all over again, all I can think about is, America did not learn its lesson the first time around. And, that's like how life operates. You will keep getting a lesson again and again and again until you learn that lesson. And I think America right now is learning an unbelievable, costly lesson with this.
This can happen anywhere.
Oh, yeah, and it is, it seems.
It can happen in any country. But the thing is, for a long time, we took our democracy for granted. People didn't vote. They were apathetic. Why should I vote? My vote doesn't matter, blah, 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 blah. Well, you see what happens. I don't think Trump won the election. I think it was rigged. But
I agree.
But that doesn't mean we shouldn't vote. It means we need to come out in droves and vote. And, Trump and his cronies are trying to make the Constitution a worthless piece of paper. But our Constitution will hold, our union will hold, and our democracy will hold. It seems very precarious.
It'll be very damaged, but we're going to hold. I know.
Yeah, it is precarious. Yeah. But, I see here, according to Atlantic, Gregory Bovino has been removed from his role as Border Patrol Commander at Large and returned to his former job where he's retired. So you know what? It's kind of like throw him under a bus.
Yep. Yeah. Well, Trump would throw his own mother under the bus. Anybody. I mean, that's just the behavior thing. But, I think America is learning some serious lessons right now, that we have a runaway lunatic freight train going downhill, doing whatever he wants, and that once this does finally get over with, there's going to have to be guardrails put in place. And we all say this. I'm not saying anything new. We all say this. Right. So this doesn't happen again. And Americans have to learn this. And, I don't know how long that is going to take. I can't give you a timing on, and everyone's like, oh, the 25th Amendment. I'm like, well, yeah, we see that, but who has to implement that? Speaker of the House and Congress. So I'm not betting the 25th Amendment is going to come out, but something has got to happen.
I'll tell you what I see coming are strikes, more strikes, like what happened in Minnesota, those businesses closing, except I see strikes, businesses closing, except for grocery stores and hospitals for days. And, you can't force shop owners to open their stores. And so somebody asked about CEOs of large corporation based in Minneapolis put pressure to call off the frozen water crew. They already are. They already are behind closed doors. So I see a lot of small businesses, I see more strikes coming, just like they had in Minneapolis. The signs in the window, this time saying on strike,
Somebody was talking about something like this about the strikes that made a difference, but it's different in the United States for some reason. And I'm trying to think of what they said. They said countries, entire countries would just like shut down. But in the United States, it's different because people say, well, I'll shut down between 12 and 3 or whatever. But it sounds like it needs to be more serious, like everybody shuts down for like days. And maybe that can be coordinated. I don't know.
I see general strikes coming like that. And so, I heard Bill Maher say once, most presidents aren't elected on social issues; they're elected on economic ones. So no matter what Trump says, no matter who he blames it on, he spent the first 4 years of his last presidency blaming Obama, and now he's blaming the economy on
Joe
Biden.
Biden, anybody.
It's Trump's fault. Have you been to the grocery store lately? I mean,
Absolutely,
the prices,
yeah.
and
That's
they're
another
going to continue to
hallmark.
grow. So, the inflation's happening, all of that. But I see general strikes, and people are, what are they going to do? Force people back to work? They can try, but then Trump can say, well, it's the strikes that created the bad economy. Wrong.
That's the narcissist always has the blame game. I mean, he is
Correct.
just so cookie
Correct.
cutter.
But it's
And
people standing up. So what they're doing is
yeah.
standing up to the bully and not allowing him to intimidate. And so
that's exactly what needs to happen. It's more and more is happening, Mel. Absolutely. More and more the standing up is.
Before the show, we were talking about Shari brought up something about her son, and I'll let her tell you. But I wrote something down here, and people say, what can I do? One of the things, we can funnel our fear into creativity. And Shari, I've got to run soon, but Shari, you want to tell us how your son did that?
Well, I wanted to bring up back when we were talking about NATO. I've been trying to get this in.
We're sorry.
We're very lucky that Biden was elected right when he was elected, because NATO was on the verge of completely breaking apart after the first run of the Orange Man. And Biden went to work big time and drew them all back in together to rally around Ukraine and help strengthen them. And then now that everything is happening that's now happening, NATO listened to Biden and they learned. And so now they're standing up to him. And that's why that aspect, that wall of his affront is going to fail.
Putin wanted
that's what I was trying to get in earlier. And I know everybody's got to go. So
Putin wanted to weaken NATO because if he could, he thought he could go into like the Baltic states and the states. He wanted those old countries that were part of the Soviet Union back, and it blew up in his face. NATO will stand firm. They're going to help Ukraine. Ukrainians will not stop fighting. That's the same as most of us citizens here. We will not stop. I don't want to say we will not stop. We will continue to stand up until this dictatorship is defeated, but through legal means and through those sorts of means. We will not stop.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, to close us out, I was going to share. Now, my son is as y'all know, he's a sound engineer. He's also a musician. And this past week and a half or so has really triggered a lot of his PTSD with everything going on. And whenever he gets really triggered like that is when he starts writing his music. And now he's very liberal minded, very progressive, but because he's a musician, because he has to deal with people from all walks of life, he tends to keep that part of his life very private. He doesn't really express himself, with the exception of a few close friends. But he wrote a protest song. Now, I posted the acoustic first draft this morning. He has since had other tracks laid down. He's got another musician friend coming over to add more tracks to it. So it's still not finished, but what?
There's nobody else on it.
Oh, nobody else? I thought you had somebody else coming.
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, maybe later. Maybe later.
So anyway, I'm just gonna play it. It's just an audio file. There's nothing to watch. Y'all just enjoy listening to it, and we will close out as we get. It's like 2 minutes long, so it's not a long song. And it's kind of a Woody Guthrie honky tonk sounding song. So I thought it was really good, but I'm prejudiced, so what can I say? So anyway.
Well, Shari, you see what's going on here. I have the cat alarm.
There you go.
Yeah.
Shari knows that when the cats come out that I have to go. Now they want their dinner, and Deanne is waiting. And when we're on, when we do the slumber party, they all come out and demand that I go to bed. 30.
Yes, they do.
This
So
is Gigi.
2 minutes and then we're done, y'all. So I'm gonna add this to the stage and play. Can y'all hear it okay?
Yep.
First he came for the blacks, the browns, and the reds, rounding up everybody, filled them with dread. Now they shot the good and they killed the pretty, telling us lies that will make you dizzy. Our masked men have filled the streets. Don't you talk back or you'll get beat. It's a time for a revolution, my son. We've got to dismantle the fan, impeach the president, defile the arteries in our veins. We've got to restore compassion, replace the hate. It's never too late to choose our fate. Televised lies what the media ran. Make you hate your neighbor so you follow the plan. Keep your eyes open, tomorrow's another day. You're gonna have a chance to choose your place. See, those fascists will lose, I do have faith. But we gotta come together and choose our fate. We've got to dismantle the fan, impeach the president, defile the arteries in our veins. We've got to restore compassion, replace the hate. It's never too late to choose our fate. We've got to dismantle the fan, impeach the president, defile the arteries in our veins. We've got to restore compassion, replace the hate. It's never too late to choose our fate.